Today my lecture is on climate change, mitigation options in agriculture and energy sector. Well, we all know that climate change is the most crucial issue being faced by the entire world. Mitigation and adaptation measures are being taken by the countries for achieving the goals of sustainable development. Agriculture and energy sectors hold key of the sustainable development. Therefore, in this lecture I have selected two areas or two sectors rather, agriculture and energy sector. If you look at the country-wise emission, we all know that the climate change is because of man-made emission. The emission by our power plants, the emission by our industries, emission by our petroleum products, emission by our coal, emission by our automobiles, transport, and all the activities. And every developmental activities contribute to the emission. The whole world emits at the moment more than 35,000 million tons per annum. China is at 25%, as you can see from here. United States 14.4%, European Union 10.2%, and India is at the fourth position, around 7%, 6.9%. But per capita wise, we are at level 120. Now, as far as India is concerned, India emits about 2,400 billion tons per annum. And out of this 2,400 billion tons per annum, more than 50% is because of the energy sector. If you look at the energy scenario, if you look at the emission by the energy systems, the all India installed capacity is around 3,29,000 megawatt, out of which coal share is 59%. And if you look at the emission side in the circle which is shown here in the pie diagram, electricity contributes to 37.8% greenhouse gas emission, transport 7.5%, residential sector 7.2%, and other energy 5.3%. So this total comes to be more than 57%. So 57% is because of the energy sector, we can say. The effect of climate change, we are all aware. We know the impact of climate change, which is shown here: the glaciers melting, shrinking of ice sheets, warming of oceans, sea level rise, very, very important, sea level rise. The whole world is aligned today under the aegis of United Nations Framework on Climate Change and its Conference of Parties, popularly known as COPs. COP21 was a major milestone which was held in Paris in 2015, and it is a landmark event. And in this landmark event, it was decided that Earth's temperature should not increase more than 2 degrees centigrade. Presently, it is over 1 degree centigrade, already increased because of the greenhouse gas emission. And if you look at the effects of climate change over India, we all know there is a high variability in the rain. Rainfall has increased in some areas while it is very low in certain areas. Annual mean temperature will rise to 3 to 5 degrees centigrade by 21st century end. What will happen to the coastal cities? The warming is projected to be more pronounced over the northern India. The changes in frequency and magnitude of extreme temperatures and precipitation events is all known. Fog precipitation in northern India in the month of November, the fog in Delhi is devastating. The changes will result in adverse effect on agriculture, water resources, health, forest, vulnerability to the extreme events and coastal areas. And this is more so for any other developing country also. If you look at focus on agriculture, the 38% drop in per capita water availability by 2050 has been predicted. Winter precipitation will decline. affecting the production of wheat. 10 to 17% fall in the wheat production as it is estimated. Ganga Delta may become infertile. Erratic rainfall and decrease in precipitation in India's forest will deplete rapidly. Countries' mangroves that are rich in biodiversity likely to be wiped out because of rising sea level, because they are mostly near the coast. Warmer ocean temperatures will lead to the bleaching of and destroy vast tract of India's coral reef and biomes. Ocean acidification and 25% flora fauna may extinct by 2030 if we don't focus on climate change abatement. There are certain steps which India has given in the Paris COP21 in 2015, and these steps are very, very important. We are fast-growing economy. We are pursuing strategic knowledge mission on focused research in the area of climate change. It is the third largest emitter in the world. We all know, but per capita is very low. We will decrease our greenhouse gas intensity by 33 to 35% by 2030. And this will be done mainly by installation of 175 gigawatt or 1,75,000 megawatt renewable power, out of which 100 gigawatt or 1 lakh megawatt will be solar by 2022. And that will be 40% of our total installed capacity at that time. We are also contemplating to sequester 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 through additional forest, by additional forest cover, by increasing agroforestry. The R&D in carbon capture is a very new area. It has been taken up, and soon we will have carbon capture on a thermal power plant. Energy in solar thermal is another area apart from solar PV, in which we are already working. Solar thermal is going to be a very, very important technology for power generation in the time to come in India, and particularly for the coal substitution in thermal power plants. This is COP21 at Paris. India was seen as a guru. India was seen as emerged as a guru of climate change abatement by suggesting that every country should have some carbon space available for them so that they can continue their development process. Countries between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn should form a consortium, and that's how it has been formed as the International Solar Alliance in Delhi 2 months back. You must have read in the papers. Developmental process using coal will continue, but carbon intensity will be cut, and 2 degree centigrade scenario may not be achieved, but that until unless we go for CCS, carbon capture and sequestration, we are going to work for that. International Solar Alliance is a reality. 121 countries have joined it. It was founded in Paris. Its head is His Excellency Upendra Tripathi ji. Abbreviation is ISA. Field is renewable energy. Budget is 4.7 crores US. Inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister in the month of March. Its headquarters is Gol Pahari, Gurgaon, which is a National Institute of Solar Energy under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, popularly known as MNRE. Mitigation of climate change through R&D efforts in power generation technology, both renewable and conventional, is a main objective of the Green Power Mission of India. In this slide, which is a very, very important slide, which says that on one side we have chimney dumping the carbon dioxide, on the other side we have got solar, we have got wind, we have got biomass, and all these technologies available for achieving the Green Power Mission. This country has formed various national action plans actually, and out of which number 1 is National Solar Mission, National Mission for Energy Efficiency, National Mission of Sustainable Habitat, National Water Mission, National Mission of Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, National Mission for Green India, National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. These missions are all focused towards the abatement of climate change. As far as agriculture is concerned, I'll turn back to agriculture. Improved methods of rice cultivation, effective use of water, fertilizer and inputs, conservation of land, biodiversity, conservation of energy and development of production of renewable energy sources like solar pumps, development of wide adoption of conservation agriculture and carbon sequestration process. See, carbon sequestration can be done by agroforestry, and agroforestry is going to be very, very important task of one of our nation mission on climate change. Initiatives for adaptation and mitigation measures. As far as carbon sequestration is concerned, I just told that carbon sequestration is ranging from 1.5 to 3.5 tons of carbon per hectare per year in the agroforestry system. So agroforestry is going to play a very, very important role. It has got some indirect effects on carbon sequestration. It helps reduce the pressure on the natural forest also, because natural forest, of course, we have to do a lot of afforestation, but at the same time, agroforestry will supplement that effort. As far as carbon capture and sequestration is concerned, it is covered under Green Climate Fund. The funds are available for developing carbon capture and sequestration technologies. Clean development mechanism is also available up to 2020, and it is the only technology, let me say, which promises major reduction in CO2. At the moment, there are two plants in the country, two pilot plants, I must say, because the full-fledged plants are yet to come. One is NTPC Senpip in Noida, and another plant is at RGPV, Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, a DST project. It is conversion of CO2 into multi-purpose fuels, hydrogen, methane and carbon monoxide, and also biodiesel through the algae route. The process is MEA based process, monoethanol amine. Monoethanol amine absorbs carbon dioxide and it releases carbon dioxide once it is heated to more than 125 degrees centigrade. So it's a regenerative type of system. There are plans by RKDF University to install a carbon capture and sequestration plant on a 500 megawatt unit, and for that the project has been sanctioned to RKDF University. As far as carbon capture sequestration is concerned, for the Indian power sector, for the whole country, I think we have to go by stage. In the first stage, we should develop ash ponds having algae in the power plant area, and then sequester carbon dioxide in that. In the second stage, we should sequester to the depleted mines for the pithead power stations, to the basalt rocks in the third stage, and then simultaneously in the third stage we can go for the coastal power plants for enhanced oil recovery. But as far as India is concerned, we are thinking that carbon dioxide should be converted into methane, hydrogen and biodiesel through the algae route, and this is a cost-effective solution. There are many scientific and technical challenges in development of novel materials and solvents for CO2 capture, as well as catalysts for production of multi-purpose fuels, particularly fuels like methane. Now, this is the slide which we presented at Paris in COP21 in the Conference of Parties. That time the total world emission was about 29,000 million tons per annum. Today it is 35,000 million tons per annum. And India was at a level of 5.5%. We said that in order to have less than 1 gigaton carbon per year increase in 50 years from 2015 to 2065, we should focus on 5 things. Just like we have got 5 fingers, there are 5 things. One is energy efficiency, energy conservation. Number 2 is fossil fuel based clean coal technologies like supercritical technology of thermal power plant, integrated gasification combined cycle technology. Then renewable energy, very, very important, biodiesels, biofuels, and solar, wind, biomass, geothermal and all. Nuclear and hydro are also zero emission technologies. Nuclear should also go ahead. Hydro should be expedited. And the fifth dimension we told at that time is the new dimension, that is the carbon capture and sequestration. We should go for carbon capture and sequestration from 30th 5-year plan onwards. With these words, I thank all of you. This is our 100 kilowatt plant mounted at the roof of RKDF University. You are all welcome to see it. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yes, sir.